Hello and welcome to the final episode of Nerd Out. I'm really sad about this being the last episode because I've really like doing this series and doing these videos and getting to talk about all the stuff that I like. But I'm also really excited for this episode because obviously it's Black History Month, so I'm gonna be talking about 10 of my favorite Black Marvel superheroes. I went around and I asked some people who their favorite Black superheroes or Black heroes were, so I'll put that here. So Abigail, who's your favorite Black superhero or real life Black hero?
Miles Morales,
Why?
because I really love Spider-Man.
So, who's your favorite Black superhero?
It would have to be Moon Girl from Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
Why?
In the actual MCU or in the Marvel universe, she's like a 13-year-old girl, but she's like one of the smartest characters in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. That and at her age, she's able to create like different kind of technology, dimensions, or way to access different dimensions. That and her being a prodigy at such a young age and a representation, I just really like her.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh shit. Who's your favorite Black superhero or Black hero?
W.E. Du Bois.
And why? He's an icon. He did a lot of good things for sociology.
What was his main thing when he came around?
He founded NAACP and he did a lot of studies on African Americans. That was good.
Who's your favorite Black hero, Nurse Kim?
My favorite Black hero is Condoleezza Rice.
Why?
Condoleezza Rice was the first African American Secretary of State. She was the first to ever serve in a national security advisory position. She is well accomplished as a African American female. Born and raised in the South, Birmingham, Alabama, during segregation, knew what that was like. And nevertheless, she rose up from that. She's an accomplished artist. She plays piano. She took ballet, and she just continued to aspire to do great things. And to think that she held such a powerful position in our federal administration, being an African American female, was just very inspiring to me.
Thank you. Who's your favorite Black hero?
I'm going to go with a guy named Mansa Musa. He was the king of Mali in the 1300s. Probably most famous, if you've heard of him, he was probably the most wealthy person in history. I know it's hard to adjust for inflation going that back far, but probably worth somewhere around $400 billion. So wealthy guy. Everybody likes gold.
Yeah.
But also it's how he used his money. He was known for charity. He was known for building education, investing in learning, building religious centers around his country, and just leading Mali to be a center of trade and art and architecture that still lasts to this day.
Thank you. And now that we've heard from some other people about what their favorite Black heroes are, I'm gonna talk about mine. So first up, we had Black Panther, and his real name is T'Challa. And he first appeared in the comics in April 1966 in Fantastic Four issue number 52. And Black Panther is actually the mantle, of the whole thing itself in Wakanda. It's not his actual alias or whatever, his actual super name. And his name isn't Black Panther. It's the same way with Remy from Ratatouille. His name is not Ratatouille. Ratatouille's the dish. Oh, it makes me so angry because I'm like, guys, his name is T'Challa. His name is not Black Panther. Other people have been Black Panther. As you'll see later when I talk about Shuri. Other people can be Black Panther. It's not just T'Challa's thing. So he became the Black Panther after eating the heart-shaped herb, which is what gave him his powers and his strength and all that stuff. And he's also the king of Wakanda. And he even dated Storm from the X-Men at one point. and their relationship is very on and off again, and I low-key don't like the relationship just because I feel like the writers just put them together because they're both black, and I don't mess with that. I do not mess with that. And if you were to ask me, because Storm's also on this list, if you were to ask me what the best Storm ship is, it's her and Wolverine. And I literally do not play about this at all. Like, literally, there's a deleted clip from X-Men Days of Future Past where Hugh Jackman and Halle Berry, like, had a kiss or whatever because they were going to have it in the movies. And then they decided to cut it for time. Time for what? That movie is so bad. And it would have been 10 times better if we had it. But no. Why do we have whimsy, fun, happiness, and joy? No, we just can't have that. Like, okay. And in 2018, Marvel released Black Panther, which featured Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa. And obviously he was also in Infinity War and Endgame, and he was set to release in the Black Panther sequel, but obviously Chadwick sadly passed away before he could. But still, he was an amazing T'Challa, and I love him so much, like, as an actor and, like, his other projects and everything. And he also voiced T'Challa in What If, which is Marvel's, like, there's a What If series of comics, so they made an animation show on Disney Plus of, like, What If or whatever. Actually, I can't even talk about it because it's actually so bad. Don't watch it. Watch the Zombies episode and then go watch Marvel Zombies, and that's it. Because the rest of them aren't good. The T'Challa episode, I actually like that episode. Okay. The second hero is Luke Cage, and he first made an appearance in March 1972 in the first issue of Hero for Hire, which is his own series, and, like, as you'll see later on, a lot of characters don't actually get introduced in their, like, introductory series or whatever you call it. And a lot of people, like, think, like, obviously you're gonna introduce whatever character, they're gonna start with their own series, but most of these characters, like with T'Challa, they get introduced in other issues, and then they eventually have, like, their own runs and stuff. But Luke Cage was different. Like, obviously he started out with his own issue and run, which I thought was really cool. So he got his powers by being illegally tested on, and he gained the power of having unbreakable skin and super strength. And the only way I can describe the unbreakable skin is by talking about, like, how they show it in the show, because I think it makes so much sense. So if you've seen Invincible, there's that one dude who has, like, the rock skin or whatever. It's not like that. Okay, his skin isn't, like, literally rock. It's just unbreakable in the sense that if someone came and stabbed him, nothing would happen. So basically, it's basically that. So he went by the alias Power Man because, like, he's, like, strong. Some of these names are just, like, it's so 70s. In 2015, Mike Coulter made his MCU debut as Luke Cage, and he first debuted in the show Jessica Jones, and he had his own show Luke Cage, which ran for 2 seasons, and he was in the short series Defenders alongside I don't know all their names, but Daredevil, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones. Yeah, that's it. And in the comics, he's actually married to Jessica Jones, and they have a daughter, because in the show they do show a bit of the relationship, but, like, I haven't finished Jessica Jones or Defenders or Luke Cage, so I don't know how deep they go into a relationship. I don't, like, from what I've seen so far, like, they have their, like, thing, but they're not, like, together, which makes me upset because I actually really like them. Next is my goat, Storm, or Ororo Munroe. Storm is an Omega level mutant. And basically what an Omega level mutant is the most powerful mutants like in existence. And to like give some examples of like compare how powerful she is Jean Grey is also Omega level mutant, Magneto is also Omega level, and Professor X is also Omega level. So Storm is like up there, like up. She first appeared in April 1975. Oh my god, I can't speak. In April 1975 in Giant Size X-Men issue number 1. And in the comics, she's known as a goddess due to how powerful she is and like the fact that her power is controlling weather and all that type of stuff. Like many X-Men, she has like a traumatizing backstory. I kind of read over because I actually have read this first issue, Giant Size X-Men number 1, but like I haven't read all of Giant Size X-Men, so like I don't know a lot about like her backstory and stuff, and it's all like that's the hard part about getting into comics is that it's all the lore is kind of like spread out over like 60 years of anything you want to get into, especially when it comes to X-Men. So it's all convoluted and it all gets retconned, so it doesn't make sense, so it's hard to know what to do. Also, because obviously April 1975, it's 2026. There's basically, I mean, you can rate it using Marvel Unlimited, but I don't have a spare 20. No, wait, 60. I don't have a spare 60 to pay for that and read that. And they don't even have all the comics on there, so I read them online. Sorry, but like I really like Giant Size X-Men, but I don't know about Storm's like backstory or whatever, like I was saying. I know that like her parents died or something, and she was a street thief before joining the X-Men. Kind of like Gambit, but also not like Gambit, because Gambit is obviously like literally the king of thieves, like he's known for thieving. And Storm is low-key just doing it for the love of the game. I mean, also to survive, but like she was low-key just kind of doing it for the love of the game because like she's not like literally doing jobs for people like Gambit does. But speaking of Gambit, she also recruited Gambit to the X-Men. And she's like a very integral part of the team, kind of like Cyclops in a way. And like I kind of realized like I'm talking about this and it doesn't make sense if you don't know the characters I'm talking about, but I love the X-Men so much, so I just like it's the only way like I can think about it is Cyclops is also kind of a leader when Professor X is gone, because like obviously Professor X is like the leader of the whole team or whatever, but Cyclops kind of takes over when he's gone, and so does Storm. And I feel like a lot of people ignore that, but you can see it like especially in the cartoon, like the 90s cartoon, that like she is actually like a leader, and like people listen to her and respect her opinion because she knows what she's talking about. She knows exactly what she's talking about. She's confident in herself. Like I love Storm. And like I mentioned, the 90s cartoon, she's had many different television appearances with the rest of the X-Men. The most prominent are obviously the 90s X-Men cartoon, X-Men Evolution, that came out in 2000, and X-Men 97, which just came out in 2024, and a new season of X-Men 97 is coming out this year. I think it's coming out, I want to say fall, but I actually don't know. But I'm really excited for this next season, especially for Storm. But like I said, I'm especially excited for the next season. But like I was saying, I'm really excited for season 2, 97. I mean, obviously, I'm excited about Gambit and Rogue. They are my favorite X-Men other than Storm. But I'm excited for Storm because obviously last season she lost her powers and then she got him back. So I really hope in the new season they can kind of like explore like how she's dealing with getting her powers back, because they didn't really have a lot of time to deal with that after she got her powers back, because Genosha quite literally exploded, and then Gambit died, and then all this stuff happened and they had to go on the spaceship and they had to blow something up, and now they're back in time because it's the X-Men, and why can anything ever be normal? And obviously You had the X-Men movie that came out in 2000, and where Halle Berry starred as Storm. And she's also not the only live action Storm, because in Days of Future Past, since it takes place primarily in the past, since it's technically a prequel, but it's also a sequel to the original X-Men movies, Alexandra Shipp plays Storm in that. And don't ask me about Dark Phoenix because I never watched it, because I kind of refuse, because after whatever Days of Future Past was, I was done. So I mean, I watched Logan, but and if you've never seen Days of Future Past and you're confused why I'm calling it a prequel but also a sequel, I'm going to explain it very quickly and to the best of my ability. So obviously you have the original X-Men movies over here. X-Men, X-Men X2, and X-Men The Last Stand. Okay? Those 3 separate movies are different from the other movies that have what's his name? James McAvoy. It's different than the James McAvoy movies. Okay? Because those ones are prequels, and you have First Class, and then Days of Future Past, and then there's another one. Apocalypse. Oh yeah, Apocalypse is the one I really hate. I just thought I can't. Okay. Those are all different. But Days of Future Past is different because it includes the X-Men from the first movies, because Hugh Jackman's in every movie, but he's in Apocalypse for like 2.5 seconds. But he's actually like a main character in Days of Future Past. So, and Storm's in there too. Like Halle Berry Storm. Ignore what I said about Alexandra Shipp playing Storm, because that was an Apocalypse, not Days of Future Past. And so that makes it a sequel, because it's the same cast from, and Patrick Stewart is in it, and Ian McKellen. They're all in that movie. But also it's a prequel because Wolverine goes back in time to see the characters from the characters from First Class are in it. So James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender and Jennifer Lawrence are all in it. But it's still a prequel because he goes back to the future, the fixed future timeline. The fixed future timeline where everything's fun and happy and everybody's alive again, because like this is X-Men, so everyone died. So I don't know if any of that made sense. I hope it did, because that honestly is the best way you can explain the X-Men movies, because they're just so confusing. But back to Storm. So I would say she's one of the most popular X-Men characters, because she does get featured a lot. And in Marvel Rivals, she was even a character on launch day, which, I mean, they had a bunch of X-Men, but like out of the main X-Men, they only really had her, Wolverine, and Magneto. So it was really nice to see Storm getting the spotlight, as she should. And next, we're moving on to another one of my favorites. I think you can guess by my shirt. Sam Wilson, aka Falcon, aka Captain America. He's just the GOAT. What can I say? I've loved Falcon and Sam Wilson since I was a little girl, because I used to watch the Avengers cartoon, and I would love whenever Sam would come on, because I thought his suit was so cool, how he could fly and stuff. So Sam Wilson first appeared in June 1969 in Captain America issue number 117 as the Falcon. And how he got his powers in the comics is a little bit different to the movie, so I'm just going to explain both. He was exposed to Red Skull's cosmic cube, which gave him the power to connect with birds, like his pet bird Redwing. And in the movies, like, obviously he had the military background. I'm not really sure if he had the military background in the comics. because I didn't see that when I was reading up on this, all this information that I have on Marvel Wiki. But he was in the military, and then he came back, and like he built all the stuff that he uses, and like Red Wing's like a robot and not like an actual bird, so like he doesn't really have the power to talk to animals, but I like to think that he does, because I think that's just silly and fun, and I think the MCU doesn't have much as silly and fun as it should be having, because these are comics we're talking about. Why can we not have silly and fun? Why can't we be a little whimsical, perchance? Obviously, since he appeared in the Captain America issue, he's really close friends with Steve Rogers. Which is why he got the mantle of Captain America. And in the comics, he got it in February 1999. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's still Captain America in the comics. And because it's comics, he probably went back to being the Falcon and then was Captain America again. Comics is all sorts of, I don't even know. In 2014, Anthony Mackie starred as Sam Wilson in Captain America and the Winter Soldier, which is one of the best Marvel movies, and actually just one of my favorite movies of all time. Not even kidding, it's in my Letterboxd top 4 because it's just that good of a movie. Like, seriously, if you don't even like Marvel, you should just go watch Captain America the Winter Soldier, because it's so good, and you don't really have to watch any of the other movies to kind of know what's going on. You might have to watch the first Captain America movie, but that's it. You don't have to watch any of the other movies, which is another reason why it's so peak, because it's an accessible movie, unlike the newer ones where you have to have 60 years of lore all up in your head, and all 100 and something movies and every single show to understand what's going on. And that is a slight slander, but it's not slander to me because I watch everything that Marvel does. So, I mean, I know what's going on. If you don't know what's going on, that's on you. I'm on my Zoom for Marvel. I'm locked in. There's maybe like only one show I didn't watch. I didn't watch season 2 of Loki. And I probably should have, because I didn't understand some stuff, but it's okay because my dad told me what happened. But I don't really like Loki, so I didn't watch it. But I'm finishing Zombies, and I'm gonna start Wonder Man soon. So I'm really excited about Wonder Man. And actually, funny story about Wonder Man. So obviously, Wonder Man is played by a black man in the show. So I'm like, okay, another black superhero in Marvel that I didn't know about. So I was excited to learn about him. So I look it up on the Marvel Wiki, and to my shock and surprise, when I see a white man as the picture, and I'm looking at this, I said, ain't no way he's white. And no, he really was white. They made him black for the series. And this is like a common occurrence with me, because when I was little and like I saw Nick Fury, like obviously it's Samuel L. Jackson, amazing actor. I love Samuel L. Jackson, and I thought that he was just black from the comics, because I didn't I was a child, okay, so don't judge me for this. I didn't understand the concept that they would change something like that for the movies. So I thought Nick Fury has just always been black, because that makes the most sense to me. And then like my dad was like showing me some comic stuff, and he was white, and I said, why is he white? So yeah, and I'm just really embarrassed because I was really excited to talk about Wonder Man, but he can't be on here because he ain't black. But back to Sam Wilson. I get off topic so easily. But anyways, in the movies, he got the mantle of Captain America in Avengers Endgame, and since getting the role of Captain America, he's had his own series, Falcon the Winter Soldier, alongside Sebastian Stan's Bucky Barnes. I love them. and his own movie, Captain America Brave New World, which is actually really good. I actually really like Captain America Brave New World. Some people don't like it, but I actually really like it. And he's gonna be starring in Avengers Doomsday, which comes out in December of this year. And I mean, I don't really know how to feel about Doomsday, but I'm a little scared. If they kill Bucky, you're gonna have to roll me out the theater on a stretcher. The next character is Blade, or Eric Brooks. So he first appeared in April 1973 in The Tomb of Dracula, issue number 10. And yes, Dracula is an actual MCU character, and vampires are canon to the MCU. And if you're caught up on internet stuff, you know, a couple years ago, the movie Morbius came out. Yeah. And I don't know if Blade and Morbius have ever crossed paths, probably. I've only seen Morbius one time, and that was like years ago when they put it on streaming after. I can't. That movie's so bad. So how Blade got his powers is kind of weird. And it's like kind of hard to explain and confusing to understand. So basically, think about Twilight. So Carlisle Cullen, he's a doctor, but he's also a vampire. So imagine your doctor is Carlisle Cullen, and you're a mom and you're pregnant, and you're gonna go see this doctor like about your pregnancy. Well, actually, this doctor, Carlisle Cullen, turns out to be a vampire, and he decides, I'm really hungry, so I'm gonna take a little nibble. I'm just hungry. And so actually, you die because of this. And it's like when Bella has sesame seed in the Breaking Dawn, and she's like dying and everything's going crazy, and like she literally dies when the baby comes out. It's basically what happened with Blade's mom, and he's born as a vampire human hybrid, which is called a damper. So actually, maybe it does make sense when you put it in terms of Twilight, because I realized maybe this exact same thing basically happened, except the mom wasn't like Bella. So after his mother's death, a vampire slayer, Jamal Afari, basically teaches Blade how to become a vampire slayer, and he goes on to avenge his mother's death. Can't speak. In 1998, Wesley Snipes starred as Blade in his own movie, and 2 sequels came out in 2002 and 2004. And in 2024, Wesley Snipes reprised his role as Eric Brooks in Deadpool Wolverine. And again, I actually really like the movie. I think it's funny. And going back a little bit, in 2019, Marvel announced that Blade would be coming to the MCU with Mahershala Ali. I hope that's how we pronounce his name. To star as Eric Brooks, but the movie has been stuck in development for years. And like the joke they make in Deadpool Wolverine that Wesley Snipes is the only live action Blade, and probably is gonna only ever be the live action Blade. But I really hope that he isn't. I really do like Mahershala Ali. I think he's an amazing actor, and I would really hope to see him play Blade. Because I think Blade's such a cool character. And I don't know, maybe we'll get it soon, because like obviously Marvel Rivals, I talked about with Storm earlier, but Blade also is in Marvel Rivals, and like Marvel Rivals basically just makes all the characters super popular after they appear. So I hope we can finally get it. My next character is one that like everybody loves, obviously. It's Miles Morales. He's one of the newer heroes. He first appeared in 2011 Ultimate Fallout number 4, and like it kind of like in the movies. I mean, the movies are actually like a bit closer to the comics. The movies are actually a bit closer to the comics when it comes to Miles Morales, because like obviously if you see the animation style, they take a lot from the comics. So it is right. He is from Earth 6110, and he did become like Spider-Man after being genetically bit by a genetically engineered spider and after Peter Parker died. But the difference is he doesn't stay in Earth 6110. He gets transported to Earth 616, which is the main universe in Marvel Comics, because I believe Earth 6110 is the Ultimate Universe. Yeah, and Marvel really doesn't really like, I don't know. It's not that they don't like it. The Ultimate Universe is just kind of crazy. And to kind of put in a little bit of context how crazy that is, because Miles' story is already pretty crazy, because he got bit by the spider and then he had to go become Spider-Man because Peter Parker just died. Reed Richards, like, you know, Mr. Fantastic, Mr. Stretchy guy, like, I don't know, he had some like crazy, like his family hated him or all that stuff. So he's like not in the right mindset, and he just becomes evil. He literally becomes evil. He even changes his name. He has like a weird like helmet or whatever. It's called like the Maker. That's a whole nother thing. I watched like a 4-hour video about it on YouTube. But yeah, his family was transported to Earth 616, which is different from the movies because he stays in that universe in the movies. He is Afro-Latino and his mom is Puerto Rican. His uncle, Aaron Davis, is the Prowler. And, like, a little thing about Aaron Davis is in the movies, he is played by Childish Gambino. I don't think he's voiced by Childish Gambino. I'll actually look it up. I don't know if he's voiced by Childish Gambino in, like, the Spider-Verse movies. But, like, the whole reason why Childish Gambino is kind of connected to Miles Morales is when he came out, people were, like, campaigning for Childish Gambino to play live-action Miles Morales. So, in Spider-Man Homecoming, he stars as Aaron Davis. And they don't really say his name, but he's like, oh, I got a nephew at home, and he kind of, like, jokes about it. And then in Across the Spider-Verse, he is, like, in that, like, jail cell. And he's Aaron Davis again, obviously. And it's just like a reference because people wanted him to be Spider-Man. Which is really cool. I love talking about that because I love Childish Gambino. He's one of my favorite rappers. So different to Peter Parker. Obviously, since he was bit by a spider, he has like your average spider powers you would have. But he also has electric powers. Just because he's special like that. And he's cool like that. In 2018, Shamik Moore voiced Miles Morales in the animated movie Into the Spider-Verse. And obviously, this had huge success. And, like, not alone, like, huge box office success, but also, like, won an Oscar. And a sequel was released in 2023. And the third movie is set to release in 2027. And I'm really excited about the third movie, except for the fact that it's literally been pushed back a bajillion times to the point where I'll be like a sophomore in college by the time this comes out, and I was a sophomore in high school when the second movie came out. A little insane, but I don't work for Marvel. Insomniac Games released a Spider-Man series for the PlayStation. Hang on. Okay. And Miles obviously stars in this as well. He is voiced by Najee Jeter, who also does the motion capture for Miles. And he even got his own game in this series in 2020. I love the Spider-Man games. They're so much fun. I love replaying them. Because I've only played Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. I don't have Miles Morales. I really want to get it. I think my favorite out of the two is Spider-Man 2 because I really like to be able to switch between Peter and Miles. It's really fun, and I like getting to see all the suits. Yeah, I've also replayed the second one like 4 times, and I've only played like the first one like twice. The next character I have on my list is Riri Williams, or Ironheart. She is also newer like Miles. She first appeared in March 2016 in Invincible Iron Man Volume 3, number 7. And Riri decided that she wanted to be a scientist at a very young age, and she also wanted to be like Tony Stark, which is like part of the reason why she calls herself Ironheart, I guess, because Iron Man, obviously. So after losing her best friend and her stepdad, she made her own Iron Man suit, and she officially becomes Ironheart when Tony Stark gets a coma after Civil War, and she decided to continue on his legacy with the guidance of an AI duplicate she created of him. And in 2022, Dominique Thorne appeared as Riri Williams in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and she went on to star in her own show in 2025. So I watched Ironheart when it came out, obviously last year, and I love Ironheart so much. I've read some of her comics before. I really like her. She's cool. I love her pink suit, which is like originally the reason why I started reading some of her stuff, because I loved her pink suit. I actually kind of like how they did her origin in the show a bit better. I just thought it was a little bit cooler than in the comics. Like, obviously I had to research what her origin was in the comics, and I really like that her AI in the series is her best friend that died, instead of having it be Tony, which, I mean, it would make sense to have it be Tony, but I don't know, I just like that it was her best friend so much more. I thought that was like really cute and stuff, instead of it being Tony Stark. My next character is America Chavez, and it is kind of heavily debated if she is actually Afro-Latina or not, but I really think that she is Afro-Latina because she is like heavily coded to be Afro-Latina, and like the way that she's drawn in the comics, like she has features of actual Afro-Latinas, so I count her as Afro-Latina. So she first appeared in Vengeance #1 in 2011, and she was raised in a utopian parallel world, which allowed her to get her powers, and this allows her to dimension hop. She was a part of the team, the Young Avengers, with a bunch of other people. Also on this Young Avengers team is someone else I didn't include on this, but also should be recognized, is U.S. Patriot, and he's the grandson of Isaiah Bradley, which is another Marvel Black superhero, and Isaiah Bradley is kind of like Steve Rogers in the sense that they gave him the super soldier serum, but like obviously he's not like Steve Rogers because he's a black man during World War II, and they kind of just use the super soldier serum to like experiment on him and see how it worked, and like he was just kind of abused throughout his life, and you get to see him in Falcon the Winter Soldier and again in Captain America: Brave New World. And I think it was really nice, like, for Marvel to make that story and like include it, because like obviously it's something that like happened, like not with like super soldier serum, but like obviously they had black men that were fighting in World War II, and like bad things happened to them just because they were black men, and I think it was really nice that they showed that story. But back to America Chavez. I get off topic so much, but I just love Marvel. Yeah, like I said, she's heavily coded to be Afro-Latina despite it not being explicitly stated in any of the comics. She's also a very prominent LGBTQ figure for Marvel, and Marvel every year kind of does these pride issues, and she's always in the pride issues along with some other characters. She's a lesbian, and I looked up to see if she was the first like canonical lesbian in Marvel, and she actually wasn't, which I was surprised to see, but like she's still obviously very important. And in 2022, Xochitl Gomez starred as America in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and it was kind of hinted again that you're kind of like gonna see her again, but like we haven't. So no, I hope we see her again, because I do really love America Chavez as like a character, and I don't know if many people have watched this, but they have this thing on Disney Plus, and it's like an animated like shorts of the Young Avengers, and they'll have like Shuri and stuff in it, and it's so cute, and she's in it, and I think and Miss Marvel's in it too. I love Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel's in it too, and I think everybody should go watch it because they're so cute, and they're only like 20 minutes. It's so good. My next character is Cloak, slash Tyrone Johnson. He first appeared in Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man number 64 in December 1981. He got his powers from being illegally experimented on, like Luke Cage, but instead of getting like unbreakable skin and super strength, he got darkness. And I don't really know how to explain his powers because it is just kind of like it's just kind of darkness. And like the only way I can explain his powers is if you look up his character in Marvel Rivals. Close enough in my professional opinion. In the comics, he's in a romantic relationship with Tanny Bowen, also known as Dagger, and she has the power of light, which is why they kind of like go together, like inseparable, like they're like locked in like this, because obviously darkness and light. In 2018, Aubrey Joseph starred as Cloak in the show Cloak and Dagger. And like I said, he first appeared in that Spider-Man issue in December 1981, and Cloak and Dagger were kind of like used in a lot of Spider-Man issues in the 80s, and like kind of sparingly later on from that. But since they appeared in Marvel Rival, it's obviously like spiked their popularity. And I mean, even I main Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger is one of my mains and my rivals, and so I really hope after this we could see more of them, because I do love their characters and I do want them to be in the MCU and stuff, because I think they're really cool and stuff. So I really hope they can appear more because of my rivals. And last but not least, I have Shuri, who first appeared in Black Panther Volume 4, number 2, March 2005, and she officially appeared as the Black Panther in Black Panther Volume 5, issue number 5 in June 2009. She's the younger sister of T'Challa, and since she's became a Black Panther as well, she also got her powers from her heart-shaped herb. She becomes the Queen of Wakanda after T'Challa's death, kind of unlike the movies where she becomes technically the Queen of Wakanda after the Queen's death. I don't really know. I don't really remember if they ever call her the Queen in Wakanda forever. But I mean, she is though, because everybody else died. In 2018, Letitia Wright starred as the character in Black Panther and in Black Panther Wakanda Forever in 2022, and she's set to star again in Avengers Doomsday, which, like I mentioned earlier, I don't know how I feel about that movie. I don't know. Like, I'm excited to see like a lot of these characters again, like Shuri and stuff like that, but I just don't know if it's gonna be good because there's so many people in the cast. And like literally I watched the entire live stream of those chairs, and like, mind you, I had like a college class that day, and so like I had my phone behind my book and it was Spanish, so like I'm good at Spanish, so I was watching it, checking back every 5 seconds, looking at the camera, be like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I went home, and by the time the live stream is over, both my parents were home, and my dad gets home at 5, my mom gets home at 6. Just for reference how long it was, and I was in that college class at like 11 o'clock. So literally that's how long the cast was, and there was like, give or take 5 to 8 minutes between every chair release. So that movie's gonna be insane just because of that. And then there's the whole thing about there being like a secret another cast list coming soon, and all this stuff, and it's stressing me out. But anyways, that was my episode about some of my favorite Black superheroes. I hope you enjoyed it and got to learn a little about Marvel's Black superheroes. Obviously there's a lot more that I can't mention because Marvel has so many characters, but yeah, that's all. Bye.